redefined the art of caramel making. Slow crafted, all natural, and preservative free with uncompromising standards. Cooked gently in small batches to create velvety textures and layers of flavor like no other caramel you've ever experienced. It is our sincere hope that you enjoy each Seuss caramel as much as we enjoy making it for you. I'm Tammy Fahey, and I never tire of hearing how much people enjoy my caramels. Please visit SeussCaramel.com to place your order and to see a listing of stores that carry our amazing caramels.
The views and opinions of the following show do not reflect those of WSMN, its owners, and/or associates.
Welcome to Inspiring Hope with Lois Herman, a leading expert in professional coaching, clinical hypnosis, and energy clearing. Lois is an award-winning author of Chronicles of Hope. She has decades of experience in advanced hypnosis techniques, has conducted highly effective success coaching programs that have helped clients discover ways to achieve success, empower themselves, their families, as well as holistic practitioners to expand their practices. Get ready to be empowered with your host, Lois Herman.
Hello, hello, and welcome to Inspiring Hope. I am your host, Lois Herman, and I'm here to inspire you with positive messages as we celebrate everyday people who are making a difference in our world. When we focus our thoughts and energies on what we love to do, we create powerful shifts that cause us to be more positive and peaceful. As we lift our energy, we empower everyone around us. If we each do what we can to make small shifts in awareness, from kindness to healthy habits and simple happiness, we create ripples of hope. Join us as catalysts for positive change for our families, our communities, and our world at large. I hope you are inspired by today's show. And welcome, welcome to this brilliant foliage season here in New Hampshire. Around here, we fondly call it leaf peeper season. Many folks visit the New England region because of the large variety of deciduous trees with all the vibrant colors they show off at this time each year. This year, the colors are exceptionally brilliant, and with the recent rains, the air is cleaner and fresher than ever. And this morning, I think, was our first frost on the pumpkins, so we're going to start seeing the leaves really change. And I personally just enjoy looking out the window at the beautiful foliage surrounding our home and feel blessed to live in such a peaceful place, surrounded by the beauty and the serenity of nature. Our kitties are even happy that we've started up the pellet stove to warm up our cozy home. I want to ask you, do you feel privileged to live on this amazing planet and in one of the most wonderful countries in our world? Are you celebrating your right to enjoy a peaceful existence where you can live your life in truth? Are you a seeker of truth? Are you confused by the current situation in our wonderful world? Do you feel you've been led by false narratives into a state of not knowing who to trust and what to believe? I think we need to wake up. 4 years ago, I was given a wake-up call. I was introduced to a group of high-level spirits who asked me to help save humanity before it's too late. At first, I was shocked and then started to investigate, to look beyond the illusion, to seek the truth. I was doing my normal spiritual-based hypnosis sessions when I received a request from these high-level spiritual beings to help save the world from imminent destruction. These wise beings channeled information through an amazing client saying humanity was headed toward the next great apocalypse, that if we do not do something to change our ways now, the world as we know it will come to an end. They were insistent that we may not have much time left. Little did I realize that this change would be upon us so quickly. After 2 years of discovery sessions, in 2019, we worked diligently to publish the first book in the series, introducing the Unquietus, incredibly wise beings that are close to what we might refer to as God. In Chronicles of Hope, the Unquietus, we were given insight into the history of humanity and how negative energy affects our lives on a regular basis. In August of this year, 2020, we published the second book, Chronicles of Hope, The Collective. In this book, it introduces amazing beings who work closely with us on a regular basis, giving us specific answers as to what we need to do to shift the negative energy from our world and take action to empower the positive for future generations. This collective of wise beings gave us guidelines for living a positive life, to embrace change and bring our world to a state of grace and peace. It is interesting how timely these messages are, especially right now. You are listening to Inspiring Hope with Lois Herman at WSMN 1590 AM and 95.3 FM. We're here every Sunday morning and other times throughout the week to celebrate, to bring hope, to bring a wake-up call for people to shift your energy. I'm talking about the Chronicles of Hope. In this book, Re, the god of Atlantis, expressed concern that the deception, lack of integrity, and greed exhibited by members of society will be civilization's downfall. He said we must respect each other and the land we live on. We must encourage truth, honesty, and integrity, that ethics and morality are the signs of a healthy society, and we need to pay attention. Jesus came through and was sad. He came to remind us of the wisdom he shared 2,000 years ago. Simple messages that have been changed or lost through time. He spoke of the importance of loving one another as brothers and sisters, that we must be kind and show compassion. He also said that there are more good people than bad, yet the voices of the negative are louder and more controlling. We need to listen for and shine the light on the good people. His message was the inspiration for this Inspiring Hope radio show. The goddess Aurora said there are many who hate without even knowing why. She tells us to walk away from those who are so focused on anger, who spread hate and incite fear. There are leaders who are so focused on personal greed, they incite their followers to cause destruction and damage. They are being controlled and fed by low-level energy. These destructive ones must be avoided, and we must be encouraged to stop their detrimental actions. We should walk away from all negativity and support those who encourage peace. Pay attention to what is truth in our hearts and shine the light of love to embrace a world of peace and harmony through forgiveness and wisdom. Archangel Samael tells us to use our own discernment to investigate for ourselves what is truth and to use our own minds to decide what to believe. He reminds us that over history there have been many leaders who incited fear and fueled people's anger. They created power for themselves by channeling the unfocused hatred of the people who became their followers. As a result, many innocent people's lives were destroyed. Truth is found in the actions of people. Listen beyond what they say and what others say about them. Look to their deeds and read about what they have really done. Actions speak louder than words. Actions speak truth. The energy of the universe tells us we are all one people and need to come together in empathy, understanding, and connection. We must learn to trust others of like mind using discernment. It is separation and division that causes hate. The separation we're feeling as a result of the pandemic is causing increased dissension, disturbance, and distrust between people. When we recognize that we are all one being with truly the same needs, we can unite as one in peace and harmony. Through appreciation and gratitude, we can embrace a wonderful world of peace and unity for all. Mother Gaia, our Mother Earth, said to be respectful of each other and of her. We must cultivate mindfulness, conscientiousness, and stewardship for this planet and for all of the creatures who live on her. Those who are doing so much destruction must be stopped. We must take steps to take good care of this beautiful planet that we are guests on. Gaia says she can heal herself if only we would let her. We must rise up and choose to stop the destruction for ourselves and for future generations. We must wake up. We need to pay closer attention to what is truly going on around us. Listen to and read beyond what is being programmed by those who are the loudest and controlling. Discern for yourself what is truth. Listen to all sides and take note of the negative. Be aware of those who are spreading anger, hate, blame, and fear. Look beyond the illusion of what you have been trained to believe and notice those who are doing good things, who are bringing peace, and support them on this important mission. Remember, there are wolves in sheep's clothing who are sly and masters of deception. Notice discrepancies, inconsistencies, the need for greed, and the attempts to control. Send positive energy to those who are working diligently to bring hope and peace to our wonderful country. Keep them uplifted and strong. It is time to open our eyes and ears, our hearts and minds, to ascend to higher levels of awareness, to wake up and think for ourselves. As we let go of old programmed beliefs and awaken to what is clear and hopeful, let us ask for and watch for signs from above to guide us. We must wake up to a higher level of consciousness and take responsibility for protecting our precious world from hate, anger, and greed before it's too late. We can do this. We must do this. We can't sit back and watch it. We have to take action. You are listening to Inspiring Hope, with Lois Herman at WSMN 1590 AM and 95.3 FM. And if you're interested in learning more, the empowering messages of the collective can be found in the Chronicles of Hope books on Amazon or our website, chroniclesofhope.net. These books are thought-provoking resources to help you question what you've been trained to believe. This collective shares ways to help your mind stay positive and your thoughts uplifted. Together with Team Hope, we are helping to shift humanity's negative energy. Help us spread the word as catalysts for positive change. We must shift the energy of our world now. We can do it. We must do it. We must do it now. For more insights on what is truth in our world, join our Inspiring Hope community meeting this Thursday, October 22nd at 1 o'clock p.m. or 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. In these meetings, we support each other as we dig deeper into the truth of our world and awaken to who we are. Together, we will make a difference for each other and our society, our humanity. Our intention is to bring you positive ways to lift your energy, helping you survive and thrive through this time of challenge and change. The God of Atlantis, Ray, says, people need to choose a path that promotes harmony as opposed to a path that promotes conflict. You are listening to Inspiring Hope with Lois Herman at WSMN 1590 and 95.3 FM. And I'm going to shift gears a little bit because my guest today shares her quest as a seeker of truth to look beyond the illusion and dig deeper into the seen and unseen world to find the truth that resonates in her heart and mind. She shares her inspiring story of how she listened to her heart and helped her husband to heal against all odds. I am excited and delighted to introduce an amazingly inspirational healing professional, a transpersonal hypnotherapist, an advanced energy clearing consultant, advanced akashic record professional, and so much more. My dear friend and gifted colleague who inspires so many with her beautiful photography. Please help me welcome Kathleen, Kathy Kubacki of Heartspring Healing. Good morning, Kathy. Are you there?
I sure am, Lois. Good morning.
Good morning, and welcome, welcome. You're calling in from the Finger Lakes region, right, of New York, upper state New York?
Yes, and it's an absolutely gorgeous morning.
And you've probably already been out for a walk this morning, haven't you?
Actually, I didn't go this morning. I just kind of watched the sun come up from my deck.
Yeah? Now, Kathy goes out regularly for walks, and she takes these most incredible pictures. If you're not a friend with her on Facebook, you really should be, because this woman inspires me every day with the pictures that she takes and posts on Facebook. They're just glorious. So thank you for the work you're doing, Kathy.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you, Lois. You know, it's the same lake, but every morning there's something different, and there's something beautiful, and I'm just so grateful to be able to do that every day.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, Kathy. Who are you, and how did you come to be doing what you do?
It's been an evolution. From when I was a little girl, I was always seeking the truth. I was always sticking up for the underdog. And my early career was in advertising sales. And then I met my husband, and we had our daughter in 1991, and in late 1992, my husband was diagnosed with testicular cancer for the second time.
Oh, no.
Our daughter was only 16 months old.
Oh, my gosh.
So that started the journey. And I knew that he needed allopathic medicine at the time, but he also needed alternative medicine. So when he was going through his chemotherapy and whatnot, we did affirmation work, we did visualization. I did hypnosis with him because we just kind of slid into one disaster after another.
And this was a few years ago, right? How long ago was this?
It was in 1992.
Okay, yeah. So this
late 1992. So
yeah.
He was diagnosed with a blood clot that blocked the artery, shut off circulation to his foot, late on December 23rd.
Wow.
So we spent the Christmas holidays, was crazy.
Yeah.
Doing one treatment after another. And every day was a blessing and a challenge all at the same time. So I didn't know that I was doing hypnosis and visualization and all of that with him. I trained afterward. I kind of do things a little inside out sometimes.
It was intuitive. You were just drawn to do this.
I was. And so, he was in a teaching hospital. He was in Strong Memorial Hospital in Rochester, which was, again, a blessing and a curse because you have doctors and residents and, everybody in and out rendering an opinion. And so we then had to filter through all of that. So I remember, holding my husband's little face in my hand and saying, listen to me, you're in charge here. Mm-hmm. What do you see? What feels real? And, he actually fared much better than the doctors predicted at the time.
You actually had to kind of stand up to the doctors too, didn't you?
On more than one occasion.
Yeah.
And that was so not my nature.
Yeah.
But it became my nature because I knew intuitively I had to be his advocate because they had him on so much pain medication because blood clots are very painful. Mm-hmm. And he just, he needed someone to stand up for him. And I insisted, in front of a team of doctors that they had to treat him for who he was. He was, a man, a husband, a father, a teacher, a runner, a coach. And I insisted that they treat him as the body, mind, and spirit that he was. And that shifted things substantially.
Yes, oftentimes. And I come from 40 years in the allopathic or Western medical world, and many times, just recently myself, I have a shoulder injury, and I went in and I was treated as a shoulder. I was not looked at as my whole body. I was simply a shoulder. And you're exactly right. Many people in the medical community lose track of the person. They're treating the part of the body. You become.
That's it. He was not the man with cancer.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Right.
He was the man. Let's start there.
Exactly. Right. Good for you. And many people don't know that they can stand up to that they can have a voice, that they can say, stop. I want to hear.
No.
Yes. Good for
And
you.
you must know that. You have to know that. You cannot turn over control of yourself to anyone else on earth. That's for sure.
Absolutely. So you've
and
long
that applies to a lot of things.
Absolutely. You've been, as you said, that you're a seeker of truth. You're not just taking things at face value. You dig deeper and learn.
Oh my gosh, and I did that every night. I would go home for the night and I'd come home and research, different parts of his condition and how to best work with that. And, I still do that.
Yes.
So it's an evolution.
And he's doing well, right?
He is doing well, and he has an amazing attitude. And so, if we try and turn roadblocks into opportunities.
Exactly. And through all that you've been through, it's taught you a lot, right? You've learned a lot. You've evolved into who you are and still evolving, right?
I have. I guess that the most surprising thing was learning about myself, because I really didn't think this had anything to do with me. I was just, here to stand up for my husband, and it deepened my faith. It awoken me to how I understand truth. Usually when something feels very, very true, I get goosebumps.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's my inner GPS saying, pay attention here. This is true.
I wonder what the physiology is behind that, because I do the same thing. When I hear something that really resonates with me, it's like I get my hair stand up on end. I get goosebumps. And I wonder it's really interesting. If we pay attention to our bodies, we will hear the truth. We will feel it. We will know the truth. And
that's so funny. I like to think we chose that option at the factory before we were sent to Earth.
Yeah, I think that's wonderful. Many of us have that especially those who are empathic, have that awareness. Others kind of just like ignore it. It's there for everybody, should we pay attention. Yeah.
Well, seeking truth, as you know yourself, isn't necessarily the easiest process or the easiest path, because there's a lot of resentment sometimes if your truth collides with someone else's truth. But, I guess that's what RBG meant when she said, speak your truth even if your voice shakes.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing about seeking truth is sometimes we find things that shock us. Like, really? That really? It's like we like I was saying earlier, wake up, and then we wake up and take a step back and go, holy cannoli, what was that? Oh my goodness, this rocks my world.
Exactly, because people feel like, this great awakening that we all seem to be going through is, something, a product of Disney, and the birds flew in and the angels sang. And no, sometimes you're there sweating, breathing heavy, going, oh my God.
Right. Yeah, sometimes it's delving into the depths of sadness, just like when Jesus came through, he was so sad. What happened to my words? Where has humanity gone wrong? This is not my message.
No.
So we have to, when we seek for truth, it's like we have to be prepared for what we find out.
Exactly. I guess that's the personification of be careful what you wish for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But my favorite quote from Jesus in your book that I honestly, if I were to get a tattoo, it would be this. Listen in your heart for my words, you will know. And it's true.
It is true. And he's always there. I always ask him before, as I'm driving in to the radio show, he was the most amazing orator in his time. And he influenced so many people. And then, of course, his words have been modified based on other people's need for power and control. But I ask him to please guide me, give me the words to say. And he's always here. I feel him. I know him. And he is the quintessential seeker and bringer of truth.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know you're a very, very much connected with your faith. And that's an important piece of being aware, is being self-aware and trusting the wisdom that comes through when we ask.
And isn't that one of the biggest challenges, is trusting? I mean, I can't tell you how many times, and still catch myself to this day saying, are you sure? Mm-hmm. Are you sure you want me to do this?
Well, tell me the story about the feather.
Oh, my God, the feather. So when I walk along the lake in the morning, because I'm a little bit ADD, I guess you would say. So for me to sit and meditate quietly doesn't quite work for me. So I have to do a moving meditation. Mm-hmm. So that's what I do when I walk by the lake, is I'm in my zone. So I was in kind of a grouchy mood when I went for a walk. Not even grouchy, but skeptical. So I'm like, okay, angels, if you're with me, I need to see a sign. Give me a feather. So I'm walking along the lake, and there's a beautiful white feather. And so, I my inner child is a cynic, so I looked, and I said, oh, big deal, there's a flock of seagulls here, and you're leaving me a white feather, revolutionary. So I walked up a little bit farther, and there was a feather that was a little over a foot long that was black on one side and white on the other. And I kind of looked up and went, all right then. You are here with me. Thank you.
Yeah. And we can ask for signs. We ask, and that's one of I think the strongest messages that came through from the collective is we cannot interfere with free will, but we will be there when you ask. And the biggest thing is to ask, and then to watch for the signs that they're here. Watch, ask, believe, and receive. That's the big one. That's the biggest message to me that came through. So I chatter with my guides regularly, and by golly, they're always there. It's an amazingly different life when you start that one-on-one communication with your guides. And your guides, Jesus, angels, whomever, any of these amazing ones that came through in the Chronicles, different people relate to different of the guides, and I think that's really kind of special.
I agree. I completely agree. Usually, almost invariably, when I'm doing an akashic record reading for someone, that's what comes through. Your guides aren't up there saying, oh my God, who's that? Lois, what does she want? No, they're waiting for you to ask. Yes. They're waiting.
Yes.
And they always come through, and they're there, and they're excited to be there.
So can you tell the listeners, what do you mean by akashic record reading? Some people don't know what that is.
So the akashic records are a non-physical record of the journey of your soul throughout this lifetime and all of your lifetimes. And so that was my first year being a member of the National Guild of Hypnotists. Lori Krepta offered a class, and I took her 1-hour class and then ran down and signed up for her 2-hour class, and then took a class that she offered at Yale to be certified. So we have a little joke between us that she taught at Yale. I went to school at Yale, but Yale had nothing to do with it. The class was sponsored by someone that was on staff at Yale, and it was at his apartment. But anyway, I learned this and never looked back, because it's you get into the records through a prayer, and then you just buckle up because the information comes, one thing after another. It's always beautiful, hopeful. So that's why it just, the next level was the Chronicles of Hope. And there you were.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So Akashic Records is the history of your soul's journey through life. So many people have different challenges that they need to deal with in this lifetime, and or they have different fascinations. And
Absolutely.
that's how you would do a reading, is to find out where this comes from and what the learning is and what the karma is and what needs to be shifted, what they need to do in order to resolve it and to shift. Is that correct?
That is correct. And I've, depending on the questions that people come with, I seem to have had a few people currently that have been shifting karma for generations before them. So a lot of times it's not just you. I know a lot of people don't believe in past lives, and they're free to believe what they wish, but we've been coming and going since the beginning of time. Each lifetime has its own challenges, its own lessons, but a lot of times these lessons kind of have a common thread through family lines and through past lifetimes.
And they say that you choose your family, or your family is chosen for you, to learn certain lessons to empower you to do what you're called to do, what your reason is for coming into this lifetime.
Yes, absolutely. I've went into a couple of those life between lives, one, as you know, and one before that, where it's serious business. It was like my envisionment of this was, we're in a huge boardroom and there's, charts and pointers and people at the table, my father, my mother, my brother, my husband, my daughter, all kinds of pivotal people in my life, and they had to agree to help with this lesson.
Yes, they say that even people who have brought you incredible emotional pain were people that agreed to sign up to help you learn a lesson.
Yes.
Yeah.
They had,
and that feeds into forgiveness.
Yes, and I think that's why absolutely forgiveness and to let go of hate, because most of the time we're living in this, inside out world where it's not what it presents as.
And global hate, or hate across a broad spectrum is unfounded, because in the history of mankind there have always been people who have helped of various different color, various different ages, various different ethnicities and countries they're from. There have been people who have helped and people who have hindered. We don't know. We do not know. So we can't say all this or all that, because there have always been souls, spirits, the actual eternal being who has been a helping spirit and has taken on a role of different flavors, shall we say. So we can't step into this, or shall I say it's misguided to step in and paint everything with a broad brush.
Oh, absolutely. There's a couple of things that I always try to bear in mind. If our body is our vehicle through this lifetime, to hate people just based on color or some other, ridiculous concept would be like you looking out there and saying, I hate everyone that drives a red car, a white car, or a gold car. How ridiculous is that?
Exactly. And the energy of hate, too, is very low level. Very low level.
It's low level.
So when you're in that low level energy of hate, what you do is you draw to you, like magnetic attraction, more opportunities for hate. And what we have to do is shift, is to let that go and look for opportunities to raise our vibrational energy towards a little bit higher level, even if it's not hate. There's other levels that we can raise to. From hate, we can rise up to the energy of courage, a level of empowerment where we can shift our energy and stand up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
See, and so much of that, I remember being able to talk about one of those moments where you're like, oh my God, this is true, but how could it be true? Most of our beliefs are formed between 0 and 7.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people are indoctrinated into hate either purposefully or inadvertently.
Correct.
But that's not an excuse.
Right.
Because as an adult, we need to take it upon ourselves to examine those beliefs.
Right. Many times those beliefs are cultural or passed down from family because that's what ancestors believed based on their situation. But our situation right here, right now is very different. And
absolutely.
Holding on to the anger of the past it's like holding on to something that you know is going to burn you, but you're going to still hold on to it. Why? Drop it.
I know. It's like holding on to a hot coal, isn't it?
Exactly. If you don't know that it's hot and you go to touch it, you're going to jump back from it. But if you know it's hot and you hold it anyway, that's tragic.
It is tragic.
Situations
because
happen.
Because it's going to destroy you first.
Absolutely. Yes. So you also are very involved with doing some energy clearing work. You're a hypnotist, you're an akashic records reader, you are an advanced energy clearing specialist. Can you tell us a little bit about that? It's a loaded question.
That is my adventure of a lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I took your training, I first saw your work. I was absolutely fascinated. I kind of walked down the hall in my own trance going, oh my God, I have to know more about this. And it continues to inspire me to this day because people carry energy with them. You can call it other people's energy. You can call it, spirit attachment. You can call it, but so many things influence our thought systems, our belief systems, and as hypnotists, we go in, that's what I learned. The advanced energy clearing kind of goes in and clears all of that and sends that energy to the light. And then we fill that space with light, with the appropriate light, with source light. And these people are transformed.
Mm.
And what a beautiful thing.
It is. It's magical. And truly in doing this work, it really boils down to working with our guides, because I find that they are the ones that do the work. We just get to a point where we're aware of it. We're more aware of the work they're doing, and we ask for others. It's kind of similar to the power of prayer. When you send a prayer to someone, you're actually asking for light to come to them. And they feel it. It's very real. It's the hardest thing for people to imagine. I think the biggest thing that I can relate it to is you can't see electricity, but that doesn't make it less real. There is an unseen world around us of energy, and it affects us on every level.
That's so true, because that's right. I don't see electricity, but I still believe that when I flip that switch, the lights are coming on.
Mm-hmm. And that's, I think, what we're doing.
And it is the same.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that's it. We're flipping the switch so the lights can come on.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes people are so lost in that negative energy that they don't know to reach for the light switch. So we take them by the hand and flip that switch.
And then teach them, because the people have to own holding their own energy, holding their own light.
Oh, absolutely. That's one of the best parts about this, is you teach them how to kind of recognize when they're feeling off, and to do that daily clearing. It's what would we call it? Spiritual hygiene?
Yes. Exactly. You're not going to, start your day without brushing your teeth. I don't start my day without my spiritual hygiene, clearing my energy on a regular basis. Because, let's face it, we're having to deal with people, with listening to the news, listening to different things. Even though I don't listen to mainstream media anymore, I get my news from, my own sources. And listening to certain things that are very sad will lower my energy. And I have to deliberately switch it by listening to inspiring, helpful, or happy things, or beautiful music, or going for a walk to shift my energy, to bring my energy up. But I'm in control of that. I'm in control of it. I can listen to the sadness with doses, and then I have to deliberately say, that's enough.
The sadness I think we can deal with. But when we're brought into that level of guilt and shame,
yes,
that's not a good place to be. But people that are vibing at that level of guilt and shame are so much easier to control.
Exactly.
Because when someone tells you and you believe you should be ashamed of yourself, you'll do anything to stop that feeling.
And according to the map of consciousness levels, that is the lowest level energy. There's inertia. They can't do anything, so they become slaves, basically, to those who are controlling. So raising consciousness is truly about freedom, being free.
It is about freedom. And so many people don't even realize they're not free.
Yeah. And that's what's sad, is waking. I just want to shake them and say, wake up, wake up.
I know.
Look around you at everything you can be grateful for, and be grateful, because gratitude raises your energy. It's
oh my God, that is the jet fuel.
Yes. And so what do you suggest to others to stay upbeat and inspired? What all do you do and do you suggest?
I always start the day with gratitude, with the clearing. Then I get out of bed. I take that walk at the lake every morning that I can. And I just, from the moment I step out of my Jeep, here's this beautiful lake, and morning is starting. And the air is, clean, and I can walk. And I can walk comfortably. And even if it's, whether it's a half a mile or 5 miles, I'm grateful for every second of that. And I just list all the things. Once we start listing what we have to be grateful for, by the end of that, you are lifted. And we can be grateful for all the little things.
Absolutely. Yeah. I know you had the experience of your husband's illness, and sometimes when we go through something like that, we tend to appreciate more because we see all of the things we may have lost. And
yes.
Yeah.
I even saw that with my father, because he lived with me until he passed. And every day he was optimistic, and I would look at him, and it was so, at that particular time I had my father dying in one room of lung cancer and my husband on IV treatment for an infection in his bloodstream, a MRSA infection in his bloodstream. So I would get up in the morning, like a donkey between two bales of hay. And my father was hopeful every day.
And that's a key. Hope is a very powerful, positive energy. We have to have hope. We've got to hold on to hope.
Exactly. And, he had such a strong spirit. And so he wouldn't let me be sad.
Nice. And that's what we have to do, is find the people who do inspire us and give us hope and give us bright things to think about. Surround ourselves with people that uplift us. And for those who are tuning in, you're listening to Inspiring Hope with Lois Herman. We're here every Sunday morning at WSMN 1590 AM and 95.3 FM. You can also find all of these shows on my YouTube channel. You can find it at bit.ly, Lois Herman YouTube. and they're all there. And oh my gosh, I have had such incredible people on the show, and today I especially have one of my just dear friends and favorite people, Kathy Kubacki, Kubacki, I have to say that better, who is calling in from the upstate, the Finger Lakes region of New York. And Kathy is extremely inspirational. She does a lot of work with people with hypnosis and energy work and akashic records. One of the things that you do that you probably don't even appreciate that you do, but others appreciate, is you go on your walks, but you go on the walk and you take amazing pictures. And every day it's as if you post a picture of life, of joy, of beauty of our planet. You're always posting, and I just want to say thank you. So how can people find you? How do people find you?
They can. I'm under Kathleen Gordon Kubacki on Facebook, or the Heartspring Healing page on Facebook.
Okay.
Our website, heartspringhealing.
Okay. .com.
Excellent. Heartspring-healing.com.
Yes. And people need if you want a daily dose of inspiration, definitely friend Kathy, because she posts such amazing things. And I also wanted to ask you, Kathy, because you are an avid member of Team Hope. Tell us what your thoughts are, if you don't mind, about Chronicles of Hope, and what your thoughts are about the messages in the book, the amazing wise ones that came through the book. Tell us your thoughts on the Chronicles.
I'll tell you, I'm usually reading 5 or 6 books at a time, but with both of the Chronicles of Hope books, book 1 and book 2, I sat down and read them nearly straight through. I could not put them down. And the first book was foundational and revolutionary to me. But it made sense. Again, goosebumps. And the Anquietus just filled in a lot of blanks for me. And then the second book, oh my God. Each person that came through, Jesus, Aurora, Spirit of the Universe, Mother Gaia, it leaves me speechless to this day, because each chapter not only filled in a blank, but gave me hope, gave me Team Hope, gave me hope, but made me think. Not a lot of books, in my estimation, today make you think. They tell you what to think. I had to do a lot of pondering on Archangel Samael.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Yeah, but when I read it and reread it, it made so much sense. We live in a world of duality.
Yes.
So of course he would be there to make us strong, to challenge us. And it's the challenges that make us grow and make us learn. We don't learn anything when everything is perfect. We just assume it's always going to be that way. So that's what your books have given me, is that challenge, that thirst to want to know more. That was the thing. When I finished book 1, it was like, oh my God, are you done with book 2 yet? I finished book 2. It's like, oh my God, when are we getting book 3?
Yeah, and book 3 is going to have to be stalled until I can use my hand again, because my shoulder is on hiatus right now, and that's okay.
But you always leave us wanting more.
I'm actually sharing a lot of what came through just with the team meetings, the community meetings that you're actively involved with. I share that, and as I'm pulling it together to put it in a book, that takes a whole lot more effort and work. But my mission is, however I can get the messages out there through the radio show, however, and it didn't hit me until recently how important and how imperative these messages are for right now, because Samael was completely misunderstood, painted as a villain. And who does that
Yes.
remind you of? You know, it's
Hmm.
definitely, it's the same sort of thing. Public opinion painted someone as a villain who truly was not. Might have been a little odd, might have been a little different, but not a villain.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
it makes you stop and think and reassess. That's one of the things that many people have said about the books is they're making me think about things differently. And I think that is my strongest message. Get past the illusion of what you've been taught, what you've been trained, what you've been literally brainwashed to believe. And think for yourself. Step it up. Pay attention. Go into your heart and mind and body and feel what gives you goosebumps. You know, where are those specific revelations that go, holy cannoli, whoa. And that's just in the, you know, as I was listening to these messages come through, I was in shock. And then when I would dig in and read and go to write about them, there would be new levels of, that's what they meant. So I'm continually learning. Go ahead, sorry.
That's the funny part is you said that, because on my second reading through both books, I would often stop and think, oh my God, what must Lois have been thinking when this came through?
Shock. Yeah, total shock. And it took, it was 2 years of getting the information. And then we really spent a valiant effort to get the messages out there, thinking, oh, well, we might have 100 years. No, we have, right now. We need to be paying attention right now. Because our choices
I don't know
we're making.
how many. Absolutely, but I don't know of a lot of books that are on the market right now that challenge you the way these books do. I mean, you can either choose, presence or transcendence.
Right.
I choose transcendence.
Yes. May I read? You offered a beautiful review for the book. It's actually in the book.
Oh my God.
May I read it?
Oh my God. Yes, please.
Or would you like to read it?
No, you go ahead.
Okay. This is from Kathy. This book is an incredible gift to anyone who reads it. It is partly a call to action and partly a roadmap for living a conscious life. I was able to see Jesus and his teachings from the depth of his perspective. New understandings were created while old misunderstandings were corrected. Lois helps bring insight about our origins from the perspective of our creators through the eyes of their children's children. The resonating truths are palpable, and the information is uplifting. The presentation is so engaging that at times I felt like I attended the session in person. Thank you, Kathy. This was powerful. So powerful. It's so true.
Your books are powerful. As you read that, I got chills again. It's truth on a personal level.
Yeah. I know for the first book we were able to do the audio book, and the gentleman that did the reading for the audio book with me, when people listen to it, they say exactly that. I felt like I was eavesdropping on the session. So I'm hoping that someday we'll get to do the audiobook for book 2. And that will be really fascinating because it was amazing to be there. Amazing. I was honored and dumbstruck to have this happen. And I just feel like I'm on a mission now to get the message out there. And I thank you, Kathy, for the message that you're bringing and the work that you're doing. And we're coming close to the end of our show. I thank you so much, Kathy. Thank you, listeners.
Thank you, Lois. No. You have my eternal gratitude.
No, thank you. Thank you, listeners, and I hope to have you here with me next week at WSMN 1590 and 95.3. Meanwhile, look up, stay positive, and be the light in someone's day. God bless.